Red Parkhead here. Everybody can relax. I found the car. Needs some suspension work and shocks and brakes, brake pads, lining, steering box, transmission, rear end.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you tuning in and I hope you're doing well. Now in today's episode we're talking about Kenner's The Real Ghostbusters toy line, and in particular a bulk lot of Real Ghostbusters action figures and a vehicle that I was lucky enough to pick up a couple of months back. But before we rip into this bulk lot, as you may have heard me mention previously, despite not having had any of the Real Ghostbusters action figures as a kid, I do have a ton of nostalgia for the figures, for certain figures in the line, and for the Ghostbusters as a franchise in general. You know, it really does come back to the summer that I was introduced to Ghostbusters through the second film, and then very shortly after started playing with my cousin's Real Ghostbusters action figures. So the second Ghostbusters film came out here in Australia at the kind of end of 1989 through to the start of 1990, which is obviously the summertime here in Australia. And it's the first film that I remember seeing at the cinema. My auntie took me, and I remember it quite vividly, despite only being 5 years old. I was kind of enthralled by it, but also terrified by it at the same time. Like I've mentioned previously, just the whole kind of concept and visual of Vigo the Carpathian coming out of the painting and looking for a child to possess, that definitely kind of stuck with me and spooked me, but I was fascinated by the Ghostbusters. And if I remember correctly, very shortly after seeing that film, my family and we went to my nan's house for the holidays, for the summer break, and stayed there for a little while. And some of my other aunties and uncles and cousins were there, and one of my cousins had a bunch of the Real Ghostbusters Fright Features figures, the Ghost Zapper, and either some ectoplasm, a tub of ectoplasm, but it could have been like unbranded dollar store slime, and we just had an absolute ball with it. And for that reason, because of the way that I was introduced to Ghostbusters through that second film, I've always associated the Real Ghostbusters action figures far more with the films, in particular that second film, more so than the animated series, which I never remember seeing back in the day as a kid. And my nan lived in a really old kind of country house in the New South Wales regional town of Harden, and it was very old and creaky, but not in a scary way, more in a comforting grandmotherly way. And when I think about the Real Ghostbusters figures, in particular those Fright Features figures, it really does take me back to that place. So very nostalgic. So with all that out of the way, let's get into this bulk lot. I was really happy to pick this up. Now, there are quite a few items in this lot that I already have. A lot of them are in really nice condition though, so I'm thinking I'm going to get some upgrades out of them. But there are a few really cool items in the lot that I've been trying to hunt down for my collection, new stuff, so I'm excited to get my hands on those. So let's get stuck into it. Alrighty, the first item and kind of the standout item in this bulk lot is this beautiful vintage Ecto 1. Now it does need a little bit of TLC, but aside from needing a good clean, it's in really nice shape. It's 100% complete, so we've got the gunner's chair up top with both of the weapons here and the seatbelt. We've got the ghost that came with the Ecto 1, so that's awesome. All of the decals are in place. Like I said, it's just dusty and grimy and needs a good clean. I gave it a very quick wipe before sharing it with you guys, but it does need quite a good clean. But aside from that, it's really nice. If we open up the boot here, it's got that retractable claw, so that's there. And let's actually test that out and see if it works. So in case anyone isn't aware, the way the retractable claw feature works here, we've got this kind of lever here that you slide over, and that unlocks it, and then the claw comes out. And then if we move that back over and we move the wheels in a forward direction, that's awesome. So that works perfectly. So we've got a 100% complete, 100% working Ecto 1, and I'm really happy about that. I mean, you know, looking at this vehicle, it's not without its flaws when you look at it rationally. Similarly with the Firehouse that I reviewed recently in one of my previous videos, most notably being that it doesn't hold all 4 Ghostbusters. There's only room for 2 in the front seats, 1 up on the gunner's chair, and then whoever draws the short straw has to ride in the boot there. So that's a little bit of a bummer, and also because the figures don't have knee articulation, you kind of got to wriggle their way in there a little bit. So not without its flaws, but visually iconic. As far as a display piece goes, it's absolutely beautiful. No Real Ghostbusters collection is complete without an Ecto one. So I'm really happy to pick this up. I do already have one in my collection. It is complete. With that said, I will need to check the one that I already have that's on display behind me. I will have to check if the retractable claw feature works, because I can't remember testing that. But aside from needing a clean, this one actually does look a little bit whiter than the one that I already have. So this might make for a decent upgrade, and it's complete with the Ghost, so that's awesome. So really happy to have another Ecto one in the collection, and yeah, I think this will make for a nice upgrade. So I'm stoked with that. That's awesome.
Now for some real fun, who you gonna call?
Okay, boys, we got a job to do.
Venkman, look out! It's Bug-Eye! Zap him with your neutrona blaster.
Thanks, Ray.
Don't mention it.
Should I mention that? The Marshmallow Man.
Sprinkler, give me the ghost popper.
I thought you had it.
Don't worry, Phyllis. I've got it.
Go, Norm! Waste them! Quickly!
You got him! Uh-oh, he's got a friend.
No, guys, that's my sister.
Get the real Ghostbusters toys from Kenner.
Alrighty, so next up in this lot, we've got all 4 Ghostbusters figures from the original Wave 1 of the line in 1986 in various levels of completion. So first up, we've got a Peter Venkman here with the Grabber Ghost, companion ghost accessory. He's obviously got his proton wand with the stream intact, but for whatever reason, he's actually got no pack. So the string that connects the wand to the pack is gone, and the pack's gone with it, which I've never seen before. Normally, if you see figures like this, it's the proton stream that's snapped off. It's the handles of the wand that are kind of cracked in places. This is all intact, just with no pack, so that's a little bit disappointing, but that's okay. Still nice to have another Peter Venkman with his wand and stream intact and the Grabber Ghost. Next up, we've got Ray Stantz. This is 100% complete, so he's got his proton wand with the orange proton stream in perfect working order. The handles are intact. There's a little bit of kind of stress marks there, but that's okay. Proton stream is intact. Pack is intact in great condition. And then we've got the Rapper Ghost here to go with. So this guy is 100% complete, in excellent condition, so this may make for an upgrade. If not, he'll be a spare in the collection. Next up, we've got Winston Zeddemore. Just like Peter Venkman, he's got his proton wand and stream all intact. A little crack in one of the handles of his proton wand. Aside from that, in great condition, but once again the string has come away and he's got no pack. So again, we've got the wand and the stream intact with no pack. And once again, we've got his companion ghost. I think this guy's called the Chomper Ghost. And then last of all, we've got our Egon Spengler with the awesome Gulper Ghost. So, and with Egon Spengler, we have no proton pack, no proton wand or stream, just the figure with his companion ghost. But a really nice condition figure. So once again, we might have another upgrade here. I'm gonna have to look over these guys really closely and just compare them to the figures that I've already got in my collection on display behind me. So there we have all 4 of the original Wave 1 1986 Real Ghostbusters figures with some accessories. Now, unlike a lot of the figures that Kenner released over the course of the Real Ghostbusters line, no crazy over-the-top play features, but in my opinion, just like the Ecto one, they're visually iconic. They look beautiful. I love how they're kind of uniform in terms of their suits, but still very different. You know, different bodies, different sculpts, different colors. So they look fantastic on display. I really like how Kenner engineered the proton packs and wands, even though admittedly they are super prone to breaking. They're kind of sculpted and engineered in a really cool way. The packs just peg into the back of the figures, so we've got sculpted straps, but then the packs just peg straight in, so they're easy to go on and off if the figures are going into the Ecto 1. The wands are really cool, you know, like I said, super prone to breaking, but it's really cool how the how the streams have been set up here with a handle to twirl to kind of replicate the streams when they're in use. I love the fact that the streams are all different colors. Again, just displays fantastic. And the wands obviously slide over those arms, but when you want to stow them away, they just clip into the packs really quite easy. I mean, you got to be careful because the plastic is brittle and prone to breaking, but pretty easily. And yeah, just display fantastic. And one more thing that I wanted to mention is I also think it's genius how Kenner released companion ghosts with all of the figures, because thinking about these in terms of the play scenario, let's say back in the day as a kid, for your birthday or Christmas, getting just one Ninja Turtles figure, there's only limited play scenarios to be had there. But if you were given just one Ghostbusters figure as a kid, it immediately comes with one ghost to kind of play out some different scenarios with. And you know, if you were to collect these figures as a kid, very, very quickly you find yourself with a whole assortment of ghosts to bust. So these are awesome. Alrighty, so next up we've got the first figure in this lot that's new to my collection that I didn't already have, and it's this awesome Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Now, this is far from a rare figure, but for whatever reason I've been having a lot of trouble tracking him down. All of the examples that I've been finding out in the wild, whether it's at toy shows or vintage stores or online, have been either really overpriced for whatever reason, or just in really bad shape, beaten up, yellowed, and just grubby and covered in marks and whatnot. So I wanted to hold out for a nice example, and I'm really happy with this guy. He needs a good clean, but he's going to come up beautifully. And yeah, despite being very underscaled for the Real Ghostbusters line, visually iconic, just like the Ecto one, and no Ghostbusters collection is complete without Mr. Stay Puft. So I'm really happy to have this guy in the collection. I can't wait to get him on display with the rest of my figures. Next up, we've got a definite upgrade for my collection, and that is this nice clean Slimer, aka the Green Ghost as he was known on release. And this guy's in great shape, aside from the fact that he doesn't come with any of his accessories, which is a bit of a bummer, because now that I've got Mr. Stay Puft in the collection, I've got that full first wave complete aside from Slimer's steak accessory. I've got the pizza, I've got the watermelon, so the hunt continues for the steak. But you know, this guy's, like I said, it's in great shape, nice and clean, nice and bright, beautiful face sculpt. Look, terribly overscaled, unlike Mr. Stay Puft. This Slimer is way bigger than he should be relative to the rest of the figures in the line. But if you can get past that, just an instantly recognizable icon of the franchise. And once again, no Ghostbusters collection is complete without a Slimer, and I'm happy to have an awesome, clean, beautiful upgrade here with this version. Alrighty, so next up we get into a couple of the action ghosts from Wave 2 of the line. The first one is probably my favorite among that trio of action ghosts, and that's Bad to the Bone. I'm a sucker for anything skeleton related when it comes to toys is always going to resonate with me. And even though this Bad to the Bone has kind of a goofy look about him with the kind of buck tooth and kind of popping eyes, I still think he looks awesome. From the the oversized skull with those orange and yellow eyes that pop out when you move his jaw, to the hinged rib cage that opens and allows him to kind of trap our heroes, our Ghostbusters. This guy looks awesome, and a definite upgrade in my collection, because my version of Bad to the Bone has a really yellowed head, and he's also one of the kind of handles at the back to open up that rib cage has broken off on my version. So this guy's in much nicer condition. He does need a clean, but aside from needing a clean, he's actually really white. So a definite upgrade, and nice to have a new and improved Bad to the Bone for my Real Ghostbusters collection. Next up, we've got another awesome action ghost, and that is this iconic bug-eyed ghost. And this figure's awesome, man. Tons and tons of beautiful sculpting detail, from that awesome face sculpt to the texture of the skin. You can see kind of all the muscular features and veins, and you know, it's gross, but in the best possible way. But obviously the standout kind of defining feature from Bug-Eye is this giant eyeball on his head there that is supposed to pop out when you either squeeze or kind of chop at the figure. The eyeball's supposed to pop out. It's on the string, and it's all kind of intact, but the plastic is just has hardened. I feel like when these were first released, they must have been far softer and more pliable, because last time I tried to demonstrate this action feature. I think on a collector's pack live stream, I damn near fractured my hand. I'm not going to try to do that again, but this guy's in great condition, so he might make for another upgrade. So really cool to have another Bug Eye in the collection. Next up, we've got a couple of items from Wave 3, all items that I don't have in the collection so far, which is awesome. The first one is this mini shooter. I think this is called the Bazooka. Looks fantastic. Lots of sculpting detail in the limbs and the torso. Beautiful bright green eyes. This thing is going to display beautifully, and this comes with these 2 mini figures. What's really cool here is their unique sculpts. It would have been very easy for Kenner just to have one sculpt, producing it in 2 colors to make them unique, but they're 2 very different unique sculpts, which is awesome. It's very cool seeing these toy companies going to more effort than they probably had to please the young kids that played with them back in the day. So that's really cool. Love this rubbery translucent plastic, and unlike the Bug Eye, these are all still very soft and pliable. So if we put one of the minifigures in here, let's try that again. If we pop one of the ghosts in there and we squeeze it, oh, didn't quite work. If we put one of the minifigures into the Bazooka, oh, let me just try that again. Fucking hell. There we go. So it still works, still shoots, so that is awesome. So very cool to have the Bazooka with the 2 minifigures that go with it in the collection. And last of all, we've got the 2 mini traps from Wave 3 of the line. So I believe these were packaged and released on one card as a pair. So these are really cool to have, very unique individual sculpts, nice bright colors, obviously hallmarks of Kenner's Real Ghostbusters line. And let's see if these guys still work. So we open up the trap, we set it, tons of detail on the inside as well with the texture of the tongue, which is really cool to see. And that one works. Let's try the orange one here. And once again, like, it's got a different tongue to the other ghost trap. So everything's unique, which is really cool. There's no corners cut, and this one works as well. So really happy to have the 2 mini traps from Wave 3 in the collection. That's awesome. So that's it for today's Real Ghostbusters haul. Some awesome new items to add to my collection, some definite upgrades, which also makes me happy, and then some spare items which I'll keep, add them to my doubles bin, use them for trades, or maybe sell them and put some money back into my collection. So I've got to work out what I'm going to do with that. But either way, I'm really happy to have got my hands on this lot. Bulk lots are just a great way to grow the collection. It's a fun way to do it. It's obviously a cost-effective way to do it if you can get your hands on a bulk lot, split it up, keep what you need, sell what you don't, while making upgrades along the way. But it's also fun because for me, the process of going through these lots, cleaning up these items, going through my spare accessories to see if I can complete some of these figures and moving them on and helping other collectors grow their collections, that's a fun process for me, but it's also a cost-effective way to do it. And my next video is actually going to be another really cool bulk lot, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you. But unlike this lot, which came from another collector, the other lot that I'm going to be sharing with you is actually a childhood collection that's been sitting in storage, dusted off after 30 years and sold to yours truly. So I'm really excited to share that with you. Stay tuned for that one. But until then, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, you're a dead set champion. I hope to hear from you in the comments. If you played with Real Ghostbusters toys as a kid, I would love to hear your memories in the comments. Or also hit me up on Instagram at CrusherCollects if you've got photos of you back in the day, back in the 80s, playing with Real Ghostbusters. I'd love to see them, so tag me in them, because that brings me a ton of joy to see 80s photos of you know, collectors like us playing with this stuff back in the day. So that'd be awesome. But above all, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers.